Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from New Glarus Brewing Company out of New Glarus, Wisconsin. You can see by the label this is part of their R&D series, which is their one-off brewery only series. They're usually wild beers, but not always. But this is part of their this is basically their annual Gueuze, but I don't think each year that they're the same blends of the same beers. So each year they are different, but they're all like their form of Gueuze. This is vintage 2018. So this it's vintage 2018 because that's when it came out. But there's a lot of history in this. Like it says. It was bottled on 4/26/17, so it was like a year old. It was a year in the bottles when it came out, at least a year. I think it came out in the summer of 18, so probably like 15 months. But then it says brewed 2014 to 2016, so it's three separate years, 14, 15, 16, of different sour beers blended together, which is like a traditional Belgian Gueuze. And it is 6.1 ABV, and that's the other thing. I don't think all of the different vintages are the same ABV either. So they're definitely not the same blended beers, and the description's not the same either. This one says faithfully preserving spontaneous coolship fermentation since 1994. Dan employs oak tanks, aged hops, and local wheat to create this hazy sour blonde delight, vintage worthy. It smacks of citrus, sour, and horsey notes. So, and I think I have done other vintages on this channel before, but I'm almost positive I have not had this before or done a review for it. Sorry, there's some water left in this. I forgot I didn't finish it. So, with that said, let's crack this open and see what we got. It's funny, I actually decided I was going to drink this today. A couple days ago, I was just going through my cellar and figuring what I wanted to drink this weekend, and wow, that is very carbonated. Holy crap. Yeah, their beers usually, I mean, it's great. Like, if it poured like that, that's pretty insane, and it didn't gush at all. And, I mean, look at the bottle. It's not even building in the bottle. That's weird. But anyways, like a day after I decided... The day after I decided that I was going to drink this weekend, I was listening to DDB's Malt Couture podcast, and they happened to drink this on that. So I thought that was pretty cool to drink this right after they did, and I was already planning on it. And I did find it strange on his channel, too, that he made it sound like these are hard to get. And I mean, they are in a sense that they're brewery only, but I don't think you usually have to, if you want to trade for them, you don't have to give up anything too crazy, which is awesome. And that's usually why I get their stuff so much, because it's really, really great beer, but it's not that hard to get. Anyways, so it was right when it said hazy. I mean, it's not completely it's not like a IPA hazy, like orange juice, but it's definitely not see-through. It's cloudy. But it is maybe darker straw, golden, with like 2 fingers worth of pretty fluffy white head. It's definitely very, very musty and funky. There's a lot of like that Hill Farmstead minerality, like wet rock character too. And I do get a little hint of lemon juice, but it's definitely more on the Brett side than anything. It doesn't smell like this is going to be very very sour by any means, so we'll see. Excuse me. Yeah. I mean, their stuff is definitely not is never on the super sour side. VSB is probably like the most sour beer I've had from them, and even that is not like crazy sour. I mean, it's definitely, it has a tartness or an acidity to it, but it's not. It's low enough that I could continuously drink it without it being a problem. So up front, there's like a lot of leathery notes, and some like over-ripened apples. There's a little bit of like cheesy funk too, which is I'll say when I hear people describe lambic as having like that like cobwebby like basement, like if you go into an old basement that has like cobwebs and stuff, like that smell what they get out of lambic. I mean, I do get that sometimes too, but to me, I get that more in New Glarus beers than lambic or any other American wild beer. They really he definitely has a talent of bringing out some crazy funk in his house cultures without it being like overly, acidic, which is awesome. It does have like a fair amount of bitterness to it too. I mean, it's not hoppy in flavor, but it's not even like hop bitterness. It's almost like orange rind or some sort of citrus rind. But the flavor itself is not like super citrusy either. And when I say it's fairly bitter, I'm more along the line saying for this style, it's not super bitter for like a beer in general. It's less bitter than like a West Coast IPA, of course, or even like a traditional American stout. But I think it needs that bitterness because it doesn't have that super high level of acidity. So if it didn't have that, it would kind of be more of like just a straightforward Brett beer, which they're obviously not trying to go for. There for sure is a little bit of like woody, oaky character, almost like a Chardonnay too, but it doesn't say what type of like what this was aged in. So I don't know, but it says oak tanks, but I don't know. So that could just be foeders, like fresh. Oops. Like new foeders. That doesn't mean it's in wine barrels, but it does have like a vinous, like white wine characteristic to it. So I wouldn't be that surprised if it was aged in wine barrels. So it's pretty complex, but at the same time, like nothing stands out on its own too much, which I guess it depends what you like, if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. It just makes it all the more drinkable in that state, which I wouldn't wreck through these all day because I think they're $12 a bottle, which for this type of beer is actually a really good deal. But if I'm going to drink something as a session all day, I'm not drinking $12 beers. Like, I'm just not doing that. But just based on taste, I absolutely could drink this all day because it's not that tart. But it's tart enough where it's not super dry like just a plain Brett beer either. It's just really, really refreshing. Pretty complex, but like I said, there's nothing that's like jutting out where I feel like I would get tired of any singular flavor. And it's funny too, for how much of a head that had when I first poured it. The carbonation level was like perfect. It's not, I mean, it's highly carbonated, but that's what it's supposed to be for this style of beer. It's not over the top carbonic acid where it's like burning your tongue from it, and it's not to the point where you could like feel it in your nose or anything like that. So the carbonation level is perfect as well. I really don't know what else to say about this one, but on my scale of buy, drink, dump, this is absolutely a buy. Even if this was like $20 a bottle, I would say it's a buy, but it's not going to be because these guys have awesome pricing on their beers. You know, I've said this time and time again to many people. I used to say that they were my second favorite brewery. I don't know if that's true anymore, but they're definitely still in the top five. Um, you know, only because they don't get into like the stout game or anything, and not that that's the end all be all, but I do like that category too. So I kind of wish they would delve into that. You know, they're obviously not the type of company that's going to make big pastry stouts and stuff, but they could definitely do, you know, stuff along the lines of what Bell's does with like barrel aged expedition. That would be great. Um, but aside from that, between their R&D Wild Series and just all the great classic style beers, I just absolutely love this brewery, and this is another another great add to their catalog of fantastic beers. So I think that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.